Allow me now to introduce our distinguished speaker for the day. She is a woman who has a vast experience in the public and private spheres. She has been a diplomat for the greater part of her life, representing Zimbabwe abroad in many, many countries, which I may not be able to exhaust. She is passionate about skills development. She's a public servant, and she's the permanent secretary of a skills audit and development. She's a big sister, she's an aunt, she's a grandmother. She's just a cool woman, allow me to, to say this. She's the coolest, one of the coolest government officials you'll ever be able to interact with. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Ambassador Rudo Chitinga.
Thank you, Linda. This is when you are having time to yourself and really now finally saying, when I grow up, this is what I would like to do. There are issues of, so I was thinking about the need for relearning and continuous learning. Lifelong learning is really what will stand you out. Networking. This is networking. But someone said to me, networking is not about knowing many people. Name dropping, Dr. J, no. Networking is you being known by the people. It's very different from knowing people to being known. Do people know you? Do people know what you can do? And therefore they can then say, if you need this to happen, call Linda. So what is it that you have that you are selling to the world? And sometimes we just say, oh, but I'm educated, I'm this, I was an ambassador, I was this. That doesn't sell. What is it that you are selling to the world today? And you need to ask yourself. One of the things that I always, and I stood me in good stead with myself, is being my own cheerleader. I do not wait for people to clap hands for me. I clap hands for myself. Are you yourself happy with what you have done? And I think we need to learn as women to be our own cheerleaders. There are so many people seeking to bring you down, seeking to criticize you as Mrora, as this, as whatever. But are there times that you stand in the mirror and say, well done, you? It's important every day for self-reinforcement. It's important that you support yourself. I listened to the story of the spiritual person who thought the spirit led them to give the husband the property. And I thought, when that happens, maybe then pray for the husband to change their mind. But all these are anchors. Our faith is an anchor. But you should be your own anchor. You, your ambition, and what you would like to do is your anchor. And sometimes we have the difficulty of creating the boundary between yourself, your spouse, your children, your work, your church, your community, and everybody. And so you see yourself in all this, and you are unable to separate yourself. But those of you who are Christians know, but you probably won't go with the others. You need to learn to create that small boundary of who you are and how you define yourself. And I think that is very important for women. And if you can't define yourself without saying, it is very, yeah, it's okay to say that, but do you yourself, do you know yourself? Do you nurture yourself? Do you have ambitions? And it's never too late to have ambitions. It's never, ever too late. I discovered a new thing that I want to do when I grow up is discover there's a course of semi-precious stone cutting. So I'm going to do that. So I registered with women minors or something, and they said, yeah, we will call you for the courses for 2 weeks. I don't know where I'll get these precious stones. But I sort of said, yeah, I would like to cut. I would like to learn to cut. But what is it that you would like to learn to do? I think one of the things that I think Doctor has gone, but she would have told us about how the brain actually rots or atrophies from lack of stimulation. How many of you are addicted to, what is it called, Candy Crush? Yeah. Whatever, yes, how many? How many play brain games? All of you go and find games. While you're waiting, don't go on TikTok and see a skit. While you're waiting, play a game. That is what will keep your brain with you. Yeah. Eh? What if, yes, watch a skit, but the games have a daily game. So you have a daily wordscapes, you have a daily Sudoku, you have a daily whatever Candy Crush. I could never. Can I King Church Chichitra? So those are you have to do the daily of those things to keep your brain with you. I know there are many other brain things that you do, but if you don't want your brain to atrophy, keep the brain alive. Learn something every day. Train it and do challenges and all that by playing games. And yeah, I could spend, sometimes I find it's past 12 at night and I'm playing games because I'm in some competition with people I don't even know, but I think yeah, but that is, in fact, stimulating my brain to things that are not mundane, that are not usual, and just training me for different institutions, in different circumstances. So it's important that you do that. What else? Because I thought I am more a fireside person. I answer questions better than speak. So I wanted to find, I think there was just one other thing that I wanted to talk about. Fear. Fear. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Give yourself permission to try. The permission only comes from you. And sometimes we have said, I will try it. I will make mistakes. That is what has left many of try. And give ourselves permission to fail and start again. Because if you never failed, then you've never done anything. You've always been copying others. You need to learn to try things as a whatever. There's this verse that my young sister always quotes. 1,000 may fall on your left side to some yes. So she says, 1,000 may fall. And then I sort of saying, yeah. So you need your own mantra to, is, and conflict can be managed very successfully. And there are a lot of open learning resources for conflict management, for conflict resolution. And then there are also mediators and people who help you in conflict management. You were talking about people being on boards. I liked Advocate Nyari's introduction. Which boards would you like to go on? Which organization do you know intimately that you would say, yeah, I'm not going to Dairy Board, and I'm not going to Econet, and I'm not going to... Are we curious enough about the happenings in our environment? There are also charitable organizations. Are we even Rotarians? Are we whatever? Are we anything that would stand us out and teach us service outside our own atmosphere? And when we also profile ourselves, what is your profile? When men speak, they are called experts. When we talk about the economy, they always say, what is it, Gwanyanya? What is this?
Persistence.
Persistence, Gwanyanya, a financial expert. But if we're talking about Advocate Nyari, would say one of the lawyers. A legal expert. Artists the word expert when it comes to women. So for those women in the media, when you meet a woman who knows and who is a resource person, call them the same as you would call the man. They are experts. And then people then say, because right now when you look at economics, them out. Let's find them out and let's work with them. And then, because that is the she for her. She for her includes fishing others out. We always say that sometimes once you reach a certain stage, you are put, no, I shouldn't associate with people. But when you fall, you fall. I would like to fall and bounce at different steps of the people that I worked with, because I'm also standing on their shoulders. So make sure you are fishing people, because they will be your buffers when you fall. Because falling from up there, but I take comfort in knowing that I have at every step, so what is your ladder up and your ladder down? If you just used people to go up and then dumped them, know that you have nothing when you do fall. Ukungodona semunhu akadonha nezviroya. Ukungodona. So the she for her is also about up and down. If you are going to be progressing, go have your people for up and for people for down. The last thing I wanted to talk about is the one thing that I'm also guilty of, that of procrastination. Procrastination is really how we have missed so many opportunities. If you take a list of the opportunities you missed because you procrastinated, I got one day, but forgive yourself and promise not to do it again. No, not just this continuous forgiveness here, baby. Forgive yourself and promise not to do it again. Of course, Mangwana Otakaga in another field, forgive yourself and go, but learn to forgive yourself. You are only human. Sometimes we forget we are only human. And I think women are only human. And as women, we need to have empathy for you, also reward you, reward this child in you. Yeah, there is a child in there that needs nurturing. And we're ready for it. It's now the machine's time. It's the machine's world, and we are the people to work with the machine. Not these men who are but unfortunately, the men are very, very strategic. They are not sleeping. They are learning. So now they've taken over again. This is our opportunity, and we can learn from what is happening in those countries where AI has taken over. And we are lucky because we're a bit behind. So let's catch up very quickly, particularly in preparing ourselves as women to manage machines. So this is for me as women. My calling in life is to grow women, so I have a lot of women that I have grown. But it's important that everyone has Kalitu Munda, even a pot plant of women you have grown. Yeah, because you have also been grown by somebody. Especially we were grown by our mothers. But if kanawata zamunda, kanawata garden, itaka pot plant.
Now, I would love to share her profile. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, please put hands together for Ambassador Rudo Chitiga. Hold on. She's a life expert. Let's put our hands together for her. So listen to this. Ambassador Rudo Chitiga is the permanent secretary in the newly established Ministry of Skills Audit and Development in Zimbabwe. She has held senior management positions in government, civil society, and international organizations, including Permanent Secretary in the Office of the President and Cabinet, Ministry of Women Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprises Development in Zimbabwe, Ambassador of Zimbabwe to France, Spain, Portugal, and the Vatican, and Permanent Representative and Member of the Executive Board of UNESCO and the UNWTO. She is currently a member of the governing body of the UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning. She's a policy, gender and development expert with over 30 years experience in strategy and program development and management in the fields of adult education, gender mainstreaming in development programs. Now, she has regional experience in adult education and also amplifying voices of women's rights organizations and civil society in post-conflict programs and policy development. So, I always say that we're like, we were born to speak and shout when we need to. We don't need the mic. However, as young women, and I'll say young women, 30, 40, 45, we have stopped thinking, we have stopped researching, we have stopped being curious. And when she was speaking, it was life experience. How are you going to conduct yourself in the private sector? How are you going to conduct yourself in the public sector? Yeah. What is it that you need to do in society? How can you, Walter, how are you going to place yourself? So in essence, don't allow Linda to come and tell you never to stop dreaming. We're not going to give the platform to whoever or these young influencers and say, don't stop dreaming. We're going to give you experience. We're going to give you to stop dreaming. One more time. Ambassador Steve.